The following Toku Podcastu contains spoilers from both past and present tokusatsu, anime, manga, movies and other related media. If you do not wish to be spoiled, we suggest turning off the podcast now. Otherwise, please enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Tokusatsu Podcast, the best show about Tokusatsu you probably never heard of. As always, I'm A. That's Jay. That's Jay.
That's
Never
mind. I'm done.
No, go on.
I'm good.
What do we remember, Jay?
You're Snow Miser. I don't know.
Do you remember that time where Black Widow merged with Spider-Man?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure you remember that. Because it only happened once, and it was disgusting. But enough about Phil's browser history. That's Phil.
You know, this is as funny as a Channel Awesome video.
Well, I don't know. It depends. Whose Channel Awesome video? We talking Spoonie?
Todd in the Shadows.
Oh, God.
Oh God, that would be a terrible.
I'd rather fucking watch Drywall.
No, you'd rather watch, who the fuck, what's this
fucking Film
name?
Brain was more entertaining than he was.
Oh God, don't even get me started. I would kill myself.
I loved Film Brain.
Of course
I
you
hate
did.
that. I know.
Hey,
I watch.
he got better over time.
I would watch. What's his name? The cartographer.
Oh God, Lotsa. You watched Lotsa?
I don't honestly. I don't even know. Are his videos even still up? Because I've never seen them.
He works for Disney now, dude. I doubt they are.
Yeah.
This is literally a guy who tried to make a crowdfund to get Doug and his gang in a movie, and he couldn't even get that funded. AJ, the guy wanted the voice of fucking Discord in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, John Delancey is also known for other more important things that you could have named and had some level of credibility, you know.
Like Star Trek. Yes, I know Star Trek.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, you could have said Q. You could have said Q. And at least, like, you wouldn't have embarrassed yourself.
CJ, this reminds me of that episode of Star Trek.
It reminds me of that episode of Star Trek where Q, not John Delancey Q, the other Q, showed up and he wanted to kill himself. And everybody got really
Hyper
upset.
Q.
There was literally an episode of Voyager called Q2.
Q2 Hyper Q, the best Q that's ever been Q'd.
Yes, it was that was Q's son, Q2.
So when does Q come out in Deep Space Nine?
He was in one episode of Deep Space Nine, and he got punched in the fucking face by Cisco, and that's why he never showed up again.
Because he was too afraid.
Literally.
Man, if we ever had the time, money, and care, we should just do a fucking Star Trek show.
We should.
I'd have to watch Star Trek.
That would be, but see, that's the thing. Like, we'd have to do them by season because there's no way we're watching all of fucking Next Generation in one sitting.
Oh fuck no, dude.
God no. So yeah, this is Mailbag 2 for the end of the year.
Fuck it.
Yeah, we got plenty of great questions that you keep sending us,
and hopefully we didn't get through all of the good ones last time.
Oh, we did.
Of course we did.
No,
this is the B show, folks.
We got stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. All right, so let's just get started with the. See, a lot of these are gonna. We're not gonna do a lot of them today, but I think a lot of these are gonna have a lot of girth, as Phil would say.
When would I ever say that?
What, girth?
No, I'm sorry. You're more into the length. I remember that.
I'm not even gonna answer that with a response.
Hey, listen. Length is look. I don't care what they say. Length is definitely better. I mean, having girth doesn't hurt, but well,
girth hurts sometimes.
Well, I was about to say, well, okay. I mean, depending, it hurts, but.
We get paid to do this.
We do.
All right. Let's start off with a relatively simple one. This one is from John, which is kind of funny because of the question. This is from John. I'm going to just assume his name is Cena. Will you guys do more? I was going to say, will you guys do more? Will you guys do more wrestling whenever we get around to doing the second season of Lucha Underground? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, or anything else that comes up. I mean, I just went to a Kaiju Big Battle show earlier in this year. It was fucking great. So I'd be down to talk about it more. So
I think those are harder to. I think those are harder to do, only because like Lucha Underground actually had like a loose but actual story, and Kaiju Big Battle is just big monster fuck up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Kaiju Big Battles are good for like watch-alongs or commentaries, but we couldn't really do like a whole like review on them because there's kind of an overarching story, but it doesn't matter at all. To be fair, I've never seen more than like one show a year of them, so I don't know if there really is an overarching story like most wrestling shows, but I would imagine they probably just make it up on the spot. So
we would have to do like weird wrestling shit because like everyone does like WWE and AEW and stuff like that. We'd have to do like Pro Wrestling Revolver or something like that.
CZW.
Oh my God, CZW. No, we got to do JPW, Juggalo Pro Wrestling.
I'd be down to clown.
CZW, Juggalo Pro Wrestling. What's the one that what's it called? We could do DDT Pro. That would be fun.
Yeah, I don't know if it's DDT or one of the other Japanese ones. I know Tetsu Inada is their announcer now, so
yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. We're getting a little bit of crossover.
We could
there.
do what was it called? There's this one show. I always see it pop up, but I never remember the name. It's kind of like a cross between like wrestling and like burlesque. I've always seen that pop around. But I mean, again, if it has like a loose-ish enough story, because like Lucha Underground was just a TV show at the end, like TV show. You know what I mean? So if it's something like that, I think we could do that. I think it'd be easy.
Yeah. I think unfortunately there really isn't anything else like that. I mean, like we've been saying it for years. Like we should have, they should do like a Tokusatsu wrestling show, and I mean, there's Aztec Kaiser we could do, but I mean.
Do you think it's just a little too hard to like integrate the actual matches and stuff? Because I mean, look, obviously Kinnikuman, right? Everyone can point at Kinnikuman, but like, do you think it might just be a little too hard for people to do that?
Well,
I think that's entirely it. I think it's like you can do like Lucha Underground does it well because Lucha Underground is normal at the end of the day. Like a lot of like the weirder stuff, like obviously, near the end of the season, we had the fucking mystical medallions and the Slavian mute cannibal in the cage and all that. We get some of the more ridiculous shit, but there's nothing that really like leads you to assume, yeah, okay, this is real. Like within kayfabe, yeah, we're treating it like it's real, but there's no reason that the narrative assumes that it is 100% actually real and it's not just like fluffing up the characters. I think like once you start to go excuse me, I think because you use Kinnikuman as an example, once you start to go in that reality of everything is real kind of reality, like real at all times, that's where it starts to get harder to integrate the narrative and the wrestling stuff. Like
exactly,
like offhand example to use another anime like Tiger Mask. The Tiger Mask reboot got really fucking weird once they started getting like hardcore into the plot because again they're trying to incorporate real ass wrestling and real ass wrestlers into the narrative, and then you've got all this like secret society cult bullshit going on and all that, and so there's definitely a difficulty in doing that, and especially with live action too, because you have that real nature of wrestling matches. It's not fully controllable. Like, I think if you did it, the thing is like the matches are 100% like shot like say like a movie would be. Like if you did something like, I'm trying to think I don't want to say that fucking awful WCW movie, but that's the only one that comes to mind.
I was gonna say like if you want to go at least somewhat respectable, you could just say The Wrestler.
I was gonna say that, but I'm like, they don't really like show too many like actual matches in that movie that as I remember at the very least.
I guess you could say Glow,
Yeah, okay, yeah, something like a more heavy drama where they shoot the matches more like an actual show or like an actual like choreographed fight scene in like a movie, where there's none of that kind of realistic nature of a real pro wrestling match. But then you kind of lose the spirit of it. Then it's just kind of lame and feels pointless.
I think so if you allow something like the Lucha Underground model, where backstage and in-ring promos obviously, that's the story, that's the characters, blah, blah, blah. And then just let the wrestling matches speak for themselves. Because at the end of the day, that's what wrestlers do the best. They tell the stories through the match. They don't have to speak.
That I think would probably be the best way to do it. But again, I think it depends on like the narrative you're trying to tell. Like Lucha Underground had that kind of more serious narrative, but it was still like relative low scale with the rest. Like it was still a lot about like the interpersonal plot lines with the wrestlers themselves. And how
you wouldn't be able to do like a Kamen Rider series like that where it's like
the
main bad is like fucking I don't know, he's like fucking great leader or some shit.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like you can't really do that much more of a complex narrative. So I think that's why there really isn't anything like it, without at least losing that kind of realistic nature of the wrestling.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, I would love to do more of that stuff, but it would just depend on where it comes from. But we'll see. We'll see. If something pops up, I don't think Jay and I would say no to it.
No, absolutely not.
All right,
leave me out of that.
You're not gonna watch it.
You don't know that. I might watch.
Yeah, I do.
Phil, you didn't watch Lucha Underground season 1. We know you're not going to watch it.
I watched a few episodes of Lucha Underground.
You watched 2.
3.
2 is okay. I guess that counts as a few. So,
well, Phil's gay. So, anyways, this
You're
one
gay.
is once again from I don't know if it's Oscar from last episode, but it's an Oscar. So this is from Oscar. Have you guys ever felt, in your opinion, that you've been unfair to a show? No. No. I don't think so.
Honest answer, I'm sure there's probably maybe one or two that I can think of, but nothing immediately comes to mind. I'm sure there's probably one that there was just something about it, for whatever reason, just made me like not want to give it a fair shot at all. But I think like when it comes to doing like stuff for reviews, I try to give everything a fair shot no matter what. Even like Saber. When I did Saber, when I like knew Saber was gonna fucking suck, and I didn't watch any of it until the very end there, I was like, alright, I'm still gonna watch this, maybe I'll enjoy it, but no. Like when it's come to doing the show, nothing comes to mind, because I've always gone into watching stuff with a fair mind, and I've always had my fully fair, fully, honest opinions when we've done the episodes. But on my own, I'm sure there's probably a few, but nothing that I can exactly think of to name off the top of my head, unfortunately.
I mean, if we're thinking about like a show that maybe I could have been a bit nicer to, not really. Because again, like every show that we've gone into, I kind of knew what we were going to get, really. I don't know. I guess to me, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's because I always come into a show not thinking I'm going to hate it or like it. I just do it. So I never really do that. Like, I know someone's going to point, well, you did Kyoryuger. It's like, well, I hated Kyoryuger before anything. I hated Kyoryuger when I first watched it. So, of course, I'm not going to like it when we have to review it. Like, no shit.
Yeah, I think that's that's a good way to put it, too, is that, like, even that, like when we've done something that I've seen before, whether we reviewed it a long time ago or I just saw it on my own, and I already hated it then, like 9 out of 10 times rewatching it is not going to get me to change my opinion. So
exactly.
I think that's also a fair sentiment, is that generally speaking, no, but I'm sure there's probably a few examples that if I actually did go back and try again, there might be something that I was unfair of. Like maybe, or like when I first got into it, or like stuff I watched when I was really young, when I didn't quite fully appreciate it, or didn't really fully understand a lot of it, and just kind of wrote it off. I'm sure there's something like one or two things that might come to mind, but nothing that I can immediately name, unfortunately.
Yeah. What about you, Phil?
I feel like most of the time I give shows a fair shot when I watch them, and there are ones that I like. The thing is, I look at it from like every little detail to see like, okay, this is what I liked from this. This is what I didn't like from it. So it's kind of hard for me to give a fair opinion sometimes about whether or not I judged it too harshly or not. But usually, most of the time, I give it a fair shake, and whatever it is, I usually try to see the good from the bad.
All right.
Well. Next fucking question.
Yeah.
This one is from a lever. Why haven't you done any of the Bima series? We just haven't landed on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, half of it is like, I think I might be the only one of the three who's seen like any of the Space Sheriff shows, at least beyond like a single episode, maybe. I don't know. I think Phil's seen Gavon, right?
I've seen the Gavon move. I've seen the new movies that they made, but I've seen at least maybe one or two episodes of Gavon.
Yeah, so I think that's the. Actually, no, I think it's more based on like fucking Scheider, anyways. So yeah, I haven't seen Scheider, so I really have not really considered putting any interest into Bima until then. So yeah, I mean, when it finally gets its turn, which 9 out of 10 times usually when this question comes up, it usually ends up being the next thing we land on. So who knows? Maybe that'll be the start of 2024 once we get through.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking Power Rangers shows we're gonna do in a row. We'll see. But yeah, it's just like the same with every other. When are you guys gonna do blank? It's when we land
to it.
Pretty much. I mean, it's not even like a thing of like, oh, we just don't care, or whatever. No. It's just like we just haven't landed on it, and we will eventually. I mean, I guarantee we will eventually. Who knows? Like Jay said, it might actually be the next thing we do. But who knows? As
we have said many times before, we'll watch fucking anything, bro. All right, we'll talk about whatever insane crap you send us, as long as we have a way to understand what is going on, insofar as we can read the dialogue through subtitles. Because I mean, you and I both know what understanding means is very different than what I mean. So, that's all we ask for is. Give us a way that we can actually fucking watch the show and understand what's going on, and we'll fucking talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Other than that, whenever we get to it.
Like, we have all the, I think it's Studio Giga, right? The ones who do the pornographic ones. We have that stuff on the fucking wheel. Because they do a lot of the...
yeah.
I mean, they do a lot of, like, the non-pornographic versions anyways. So
yeah, I mean, I know that,
but like, so we have that on the wheel. So it's like it's not like we're being picky. We're not being snobbish. It's just the way it is. So this one is from Dana. Whilst listening to your review of The High School Heroes, it got me wondering, why hasn't Toei gone out and done more things like this? Is it because it would confuse both adult audiences and young audiences, or was there just no money in the tank to begin with?
Well, that's the thing, where High School Heroes was, I'm like 90% sure that was like a vanity project for that band. It was like, we want to do a show, and we'll fucking do a Sentai, and so let's throw something together kind of experience. At least that's my assumption. I obviously don't know the behind the scenes, but that's my take on it, is that it was very much this popular group wants to do a thing, let's just throw it together.
I mean,
but I think a lot of the times it's like with Rider. I mean, obviously you've had Black Sun and you've had the Amazons, which sold well and reception wise, yeah,
they tried.
They've tried with Rider something like more of a Sentai thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like if you're just saying like in general, like that kind of more mature-ish spin-off, but still sticking relatively to the concept. I'm going to guess that there just really isn't, like, an audience or a budget for it. Because, like, High School Heroes, not a whole lot of people really, in the long scheme of things, have really heard about it. Like,
Exactly.
even within, you know, the
Tokusatsu
Tokusatsu community, even with, like, Sentai fans, not that many people have actually heard of it or are that familiar with it. At least from experience. Like when we went to Japan World Heroes, like, maybe 1 out of 10 people we talked to or we brought it up to had any idea what it was.
and even then, they were just like, "Oh, I heard about it," but they never seen it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
to
I
be
think
fair,
it's
too, a lot of people don't even know it has subs.
true. I mean, it barely has subs. But...
Yes, it's true. I still remember that conversation where, like, this person was like, straight up, "Yeah, that's completely wrong." So that's fun. That's fun.
One of these days, one of us will be fluent enough in Japanese to watch... Well, fluent enough in Japanese and have a consistent appearance on the show to be able to actually correct this kind of thing.
I mean, even Chad didn't catch it, apparently.
Okay. Well, either way.
Again, like, if you're asking, like, why they just haven't done, like, weird, out there kind of shows, I mean... Again, it's like Jay said, I don't really think there's an audience for it at this time. Like, you know... Akiba Ranger is probably like the closest you got with Sentai that actually was like successful. Amazon's was okay. Black Sun, it's Black Sun.
Was Black Sun.
I mean, I think they're very much able to take more risk with Rider than Sentai, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think they really want to do stuff like that very often. I mean, High School Heroes was like what, 5-6 episodes?
I think it was like 12 episodes, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was pretty long.
Are you sure it was 12 episodes, or was it 6 episodes for like an hour each?
No, I was 12.
Oh my god. Oh,
yeah.
Jeez, I completely forgot about that. I just like wiped that out of my brain.
But yeah, I think it's more like, if you mean just like in general thing, I think a lot of it is just that those tend to be more expensive, and where they're not like, they don't have merchandise or anything to really sell. There's no real way for them to recoup it. Like, not from Toei, there was like Girl Gun Lady. Like, that was that's kind of a similar thing of like Toku-esque, more mature, but not like grimdark kind of thing. But that had a merchandise line to shill, and something like that. Like, yeah, if you've got like a toy it's built around, or you've got some kind of merchandise, I'm sure they will do it. But something like As Is High School Heroes, I just don't think there was enough profit for it in there. I think it was just very specifically, let's do it for this group, and just kind of built it from there. So I don't know. I couldn't really give you like that. That's more of like a behind the scenesy kind of thing that I don't really have an answer for, unfortunately. But that's my take, is that it just isn't profitable enough. They just don't have any way to capitalize on it. I mean, think it's the problem.
For all we know, like, maybe not even like Girl Gun Lady was that profitable, you know? So who even knows? Because I mean,
those toys basically dropped off the market.
I mean, not only that, they've gotten like really expensive. I think the one I have, Daisy, I think it's her name. That, like, her alone, I think she's like $70 now. She went really, and for like a $30 kit, so that's pretty crazy. Actually, no, to be fair, no, they have 30-minute girls, 30-minute missions.
Yeah, there was the 30-minute missions, and the girl ones too. I guess there's something like that.
It was like 30-minute women, 30-minute girls, 30-minute ladies, something like that. I know that they had a crossover at one point, but that's a thing. But I mean, to go back to the point, like Jay said, there's probably just not money to be made in it. Even though artistically it would be nice to see, there's just no money to be made. This isn't a Shin Kamen Rider kind of thing where Anno's name alone will be making the money. It's just not going to happen. So let's see here. Next one. This is from Lyra. So, are there any episodes from the pre-crisis era you believe deserve to be in the post-crisis era? And vice versa, do you believe any of the pre-crisis era episodes deserve to stay buried? To answer your second question, 99% of them.
Pre-crisis?
There's kind of, like, other than Redacted, there's kind of a reason why we buried all of them, and it's most of them are just very good. Like especially like the early ones, like the first couple of years, like when I first started, where like we'd record them at fucking midnight, and I was still living with my mom, so I'd be talking like this, so like this is what I really like, like
there
shit
were some
like that.
episodes where I fell asleep.
Yes, that's true. Phil definitely fell asleep during a couple of episodes. Like shit like that. Those ones, no, don't fucking bring those back. That Earth is destroyed. We let the fucking anti-monitor eat that. That was sacrificial.
We made a deal with anti-monitor.
Like I think like there may be like jokes from like the original pre-crisis era that I think could,
I still can't believe that caught on as like our actual term.
I know, right?
I said that as a fucking joke, and we just kind of kept going.
It just is now. Like, I think there's a few jokes in our pre-crisis era that like I think are still funny, but it's not enough for me to be like, yeah, go watch this. Because for one, this is the most obvious one, the most obvious thing. Yeah, your ears aren't gonna love you for that.
No.
Like none of us had good equipment at that time. Nobody.
None of us.
AJ on his fucking phone.
Yep.
Me on my fucking snowball mic, which lasted way longer than it should have. I actually still do have that thing somewhere in my closet. I use it every now and then when I need to.
I just had a standard mic and pop filter. That was it.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like nobody really had equipment, so it wasn't. They don't sound very good. And honestly, I think a lot of our pre-crisis stuff just wasn't very prepared. Honestly, like all that stuff was just not
I remember that
right.
too. Is like. I think it was like maybe, I want to say like 2019 or so, around then, like halfway through our show, where we finally started to decide, actually, you know what, before we review something, let's like make sure to rewatch it all, instead of just being like half of our fucking episodes early on, like our first Drive review, or our first O's review, or I think our Kabuto review. Maybe maybe not Kabuto.
No, Kabuto
I remember
we watched.
Yeah, okay, but like a lot of our first takes on the Lushes were like us half remembering shit that we had watched back when it came out, or like years ago.
Yeah.
And we had no fucking like coherent thought line or anything. So that's why we've started redoing a lot of older shows that we've already reviewed, is that our old reviews just sucked, and we didn't know what the fuck we were talking about because we hadn't seen it within like a year and a half. I would agree with AJ. There are definitely bits I remember that we had. There was definitely jokes that we had that I'm sure would remember, or particularly famous moments that we that occurred during recording that I'm sure are worth like revisiting.
The famous Chrome debacle.
Who?
That was like from like episode 1.
Yeah, it was early on. I was ranting off of Ranger Reviews thing about how some of the early MMPR toys, they had like, some of them had the chrome parts from the Japanese stuff, and then as the release would go on, it would mix up to having like a chrome sword or a chrome piece, and then it would have both dull pieces and stuff. See, I'm going into it again.
No,
now we've brought it.
So, but like to go to like the main point of it, it's just the fact that none of us really think any of those really hold up. Plus, a lot of them had like people who were not very like often guests. Like honestly, I think our worst one, and this is gonna be a shock to everybody, I think our worst one was probably the second episode. First one was fucking bad, because it had him, but like first one was bad.
him.
But like the second one, I think was just bad. Like, again, I'm not trying to show. I'm legitimately not trying to throw shade at anybody. But the person at the time who was hosting the show was just not very good. The people that we had on, we had somebody on there that was just not very good. We were just talking about like general Super Sentai, so there was no even real like main point. It was just Super Sentai, yeah. So like there was just nothing there. if you wanted to talk about like another one, honestly, I think our first Ghost review can go in the fucking trash. But that's because there was like 8 people.
Actually just about to bring that one up. I mean, like, as much as I can't wholly dispense it, because of course it brought us me, the most popular character on the show.
We all know that's me.
Actually, no, that's Smormu.
I really, really don't want Smormu.
This decision cannot be undone.
God. Who would be our Smormu?
Oh God,
probably one of my various Tumblr friends and or exes that I tried to get on the show at some point.
I was gonna say.
I didn't want to fucking name him, damn it.
Probably because he would be the one who would wear the "I'm with her" shirt.
I fucking forgot about that.
Oh, that's not even. No.
You fucking leaf.
Don't worry, I'm gonna bleep all of this out. It's fine.
Good. Fuck him.
Anyways, but yeah, like the Ghost review where there's like 8 million fucking people, and you couldn't understand what anybody was saying, like that shit, like stuff like that. Or I think another one that we did, it was like American Tokusatsu, and it had like 2 people that were there, and nothing was being talked. It was just rambling pretty much. So stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think.
That was back when we used to have guest stars too, but we didn't really have many guest stars.
Yeah, a lot of our guests were usually like somebody I knew that talked about Tokusatsu. Like, hey, it'd be fun, and then they didn't really know a whole lot, or they didn't really talk. Like our first X8 review, we had an individual whose connection to mine I won't go into detail about, who barely fucking said anything, and I was like, I kind of regret even bringing him in because reasons, but yeah, like stuff like that, like a lot of our guests were like didn't really work out, and again, like, not that I really am against having guests anymore. Like, fuck, if you have some like ability to show you have knowledge and you have a good show to bring up to do a crossover or a guest spot, I'm game for it. It would pass by us.
I mean, shit, fucking Eric wants to do a show with us eventually.
Yeah, he's fucking said, what was it, Farscape?
Yeah, I would love to do some fucking Farscape.
If we ever get around to it, if he ever has time, but stuff like that. Like,
shit, Lucas, he comes on every once in a while as well.
Yeah, like stuff like that, even just, you as like, I don't want to say it like this, you as like a nobody, or like somebody like, not that we're anybody, of course, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that we're open to the idea. It's just, we need a valid reason to, and
yeah,
again, a lot of our old guests were just like fucking nobodies, kind of, and again, not that we're not nobodies.
Well, we don't care. It's 50 on here.
Anyways, I think we kind of strayed away from the topic there. But yeah, stuff like that. Like, there are definitely episodes and discussions that we had that are worth kind of putting a spotlight back onto, dredging back up, maybe. But like, the overwhelming majority of it is just bad. Like, most of those episodes are bad. There are definitely episodes that we did that, I mean, I don't even really remember where the hell the fucking timeline split at this point. It's supposed to be my job to keep track of continuity. I'm the continuity nerd, but even I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty sure our cutoff was I believe Blade.
I think that sounds about right. But yeah,
Blade
there are
onward,
definitely
yeah.
ones we did like relatively recently within Blade that were worth bringing back. But the overwhelming majority of those old episodes, no, they're dumpstered for a reason, because we don't really like them. And you know what? I always hate when content creators like completely nuke their old content because they don't like it. We still have it around. You just kind of gotta,
really
look for it. But there's a reason why we don't have it front and center, and it's because we don't want to bring it up. It's just because it's not very good compared to our current content.
Exactly.
It's also not us anymore. It's not what we do anymore. Like, hell, I remember back in the early days we used to just do top 10 lists.
It's true.
God, when was the last time we did a top 10 list?
I think that was like 2019.
I think our last top 10 list was the one where we ranked literally all of the literal Who writers, and it took us 7 fucking hours.
Oh, don't worry. For the 10th anniversary, we're doing that again.
Oh, fuck.
What are we doing for the 10th anniversary again?
Ranking every single writer ever.
No!
Including the stage shows, including the novels, including the gashapons.
No!
You know what? I'd be down to redo that because I was always unhappy that Grease won because Build was the show that was airing at that time. No, I guess technically Zio was like just about to start, but
yeah,
because Grease won because he was the most recent character, and that was therefore the one that most people knew about. So I was always kind of unhappy about that.
But now you also got to like include all like the Showa era writers now.
Oh fuck! No, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
No, that's right. No, we didn't include main writers or secondaries. It was just like the other guys.
So now it's everyone.
Now we're gonna do everybody. Oh,
that's gonna be like a multi-day recording, I think.
That's gonna take us like a fucking week to get through.
Another Hibiki writer.
Oh my god, I fucking remember that. Like we had like fucking 8 Hibiki writers in a row who were all literal Who's.
It's Kamen Rider Donkey. He's here to shit on JRPGs and cry about it on Twitter.
It's
Kamen Rider Dookie.
Kamen Rider Donkey Kong.
Kamen Rider Dougal.
Kamen Rider Lanky.
Kamen Rider Conquer. I don't know.
Kamen Rider Zabumafuki.
Zabumafuki, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I kind of regret not making a which of these is a real Oni writer question when we did trivia, because I know no one was gonna fucking get that.
That would be like if somebody actually got the main prize. They're like, all right, we got this one question. If you can tell me this, you can get something better.
That's Dante Must Die mode for trivia. Which of these is a real
Bonky,
writer?
Honky, Tonky, and Todoraki. Oh my god. Oh dude, the worst part is that like you could even make it like a double trick question and put 2 real ones and they would never get it.
True. Which of these is not a Hibiki writer, and just pick like the most ridiculous sounding ones?
Dudubiki, Tombabiki, and Nujubes. I don't know.
Nujubes.
Anyways, next question.
Well, that question's answered.
Oh yeah, this one. Fuck.
But yeah,
this one's from Todd.
McFarlane?
Peterson?
Jason Todd. I don't know.
He's dead again.
Oh, thank God. Finally. This was from Todd. What has been the biggest ripoff in tokusatsu history toy-wise? Brother, pick any of the premium Bandai shit.
That was good.
I mean, bro, there's like I'm gonna be honest, like 90% of the fucking P Bandai stuff is just not worth it.
Yeah, it ain't.
Basically all of the Hasbro made stuff, or at least American made toys.
You know what? I'll throw down a specific one because I know these were P Bandai. The Future Rider set for Zio.
Oh my god, those were so lame.
I don't even know what the fuck. Weren't they like actually separate belts though? They weren't all in just one.
In the show, they were. I don't know if like in the toy they were separate, but in the show they were all supposed to be separate belts. Yeah.
No, but like in the toy, I think it was all just like I think they actually sold them separately.
I don't think so. No, I think.
Oh, okay.
They might have sold Ginga separately, but I know like the first 3, Shinobi, Quiz, and Kikai, which I'm surprised I fucking remember all 4 of those. I think those 3 were sold together, but I don't know.
I mean, to be fair,
Are you talking about the watches?
No. The actual like buckles for the belts.
Like the belt, like their belts.
those. Yeah, they came in one pack along with the Galaxy, whatever his name was, the
Ginga.
Ginga.
But I mean that was.
By the way, I think I made this joke when we did Zio. You have Tomokazu Sugita playing a character called Ginga. Fucking bravo, Shimoyama! You're really stretching the brain cells there.
Look, Shimoyama smells his own asshole. It's fine.
I'm fucking glad they haven't brought him back since. The man has fucking not written anything Tokusatsu related.
Do not even fucking tempt it. You think
Jay,
King Oger's bad? Just wait till
you know what?
we're
getting
close. One episode of King Oger.
Just wait till you get fucking Shimoyama writing Boom Boom Boonger.
I can't believe that's actually the name.
Boonger.
Wait a minute, that's the name Boom Boomger?
Yes,
that
is
is
literally the name.
Oh god!
I don't even know what the fuck that is. What's a Boom Boonger?
What?
I think it's another car Sentai too,
Dude,
which doesn't make
might as well
any
just call
sense.
it Boom Boomers. Fucking Boom Zoomers.
Why does it feel like they're trying to? Why does it feel like with that name they're trying to go like off the success of Dawn Brothers, but they don't get what made Dawn Brothers Dawn Brothers?
Because King Oger is selling like shit and nobody likes it. That's
I bought
why.
from King Oger.
Oh yeah, you. Anyways.
I
bought one item. I bought Tarantula King.
Yeah, I know you did. Anyway, so Jay, what was the biggest ripoff for you?
There are too many. There are really too many to name without listing like the P Bandai. Here's $60 for a fucking plastic shell that does nothing kind of toy. Shit.
Wasn't there a belt by Pre Bandai? It was, I believe, an evil version of a Rider belt that everyone was expecting for it to do like multiple sounds and all this stuff, and it didn't do shit. It wasn't Evolts.
I think so.
It wasn't Evolts because that's actually better than the Build driver. It wasn't the Dark Wizard driver. Fuck, which one was it?
I don't think Dark Ghost didn't have a unique belt.
No, it didn't.
There was never a Dark Wizard driver. It was just two different versions of the Wizard driver.
No, it was.
Yeah, unless he means the White Wizard driver.
Well, White Wizard.
Yeah, that's
same
what
shit.
he means.
But that wasn't P Bandai, I don't think.
No, it wasn't.
No,
P-Bandai.
it wasn't.
No, but it's a different driver.
There was no Gold Drive at least was different because that like had unique sounds.
There was a belt that was like really disappointing because you know what was the Budweiser's Way 2 fucking P Bandai?
I think so.
Because that's a fucking ripoff too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm trying to not to just like pick P Bandai stuff. Like a lot of the Sentai mechs up until like Kira Major, from Kyoryuger to like Kira Major, were all really like shitty toys. Like some people like Tokuo, and it's like, I mean, that was not a particularly good design to adapt into a toy anyways. Especially once you got into the later forms, which were like, here's a fucking plastic thing that we're just going to attach the toys to. You have no articulation, kids. Just a big fucking plastic sheet.
I mean, if you want to be mean, like really mean, any of the Patent Rangers from Lupat stuff.
Like the Zyuohger ones were really bad, but I mean, that was kind of a given considering the design. I mean, I liked Zyuo King, but no offense, those fucking toys sucked. They were bad. They were bad toys.
Yeah.
They remade them in Korea, except using letters instead of numbers.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, the whale one is so stupid. It's a brachiosaurus. It's like, oh, we'll just take the whale sprout and we'll turn it into a neck.
But yeah, it's
For what reason?
It's just, again, all of it's just, there's so, like Jay said, there's so many ripoffs in Tokusatsu that it's honestly, you should ask what isn't a ripoff, and we can answer that easier.
Yeah, I think this is such an open, we could go on for another hour just talking about like, this was a bullshit ripoff, this was a bullshit cash grab, this did nothing. There are so many P Bandai toys that were literally like nothing. They didn't do anything. They were plastic shells. So there are too many examples, honestly.
That's kind of why like I stuck mostly to P Bandai, because that's just like the easiest. All right, obviously this stuff's gonna be a fucking ripoff. I mean, Phil, you buy stuff all the time. So like, what's something like? I honestly, I want to ask like, what like the American stuff are like rip-offs for you, Phil? Because I know you bought the Lightning collection for a while there, or you tried to.
For a while, I did. It was I stopped after the whole Psycho Ranger debacle because I was just like, I that was a big ripoff because. Okay, should I go into detail about the Psycho Rangers?
No.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think so. That's fair. I don't think. I mean, we've had like. I think we've talked about it individually, but I don't think we've really like gotten into it on the show. But we don't really do toy stuff too often,
No,
anyways.
All right. So let me. Okay, so when I was into the Lightning collection, I always bought a villain and I always bought a ranger to go with it to kind of even things out. So one day I'm going to this haunted house job and I had to look for some leggings because it was getting colder out and I was getting tired of just sitting in let's just say I was sitting in a costume that wasn't very comfortable for the cold weather, if that makes any sense. So I'm at GameStop. I go to buy Goldar because I already have Magna Defender that I bought for my birthday. I had Shadow Ranger and I had Zed. So I said, ooh, what's this? So I went there and they had Psycho Blue. So I bought Psycho Blue, and every time I kept going into GameStop, I would always see that there were shelves upon shelves of Psycho Blues. And I'm figuring, okay, this is a bit of a shelf warmer considering Bandai had released Psycho Blue late into the Legacy line. So I'm figuring, okay, some people aren't going to buy it. Then you sell, what was it? You sold the only way to get Psycho Red was in the Lost Galaxy 2-pack. And I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. I did. I bought it, and it was all right. It's a cool figure. Now we find out, they're re-releasing all the Psycho Ranger figures, including black, yellow, and pink. Now they've re-released other figures in the past, but they always came with a gimmick. Like, when they re-released Goldar, they took away his wings, they gave him another effects part. Or when they re-released Zane from In Space, instead of him having a certain paint job, they gave him his Astro Cycle. So, I'm thinking, okay, what are you going to do with the Psycho Rangers? What are you going to do? Are you going to give Pink her Savage Sword? Are you going to do that? No, they did absolutely nothing. They didn't do absolutely nothing. That is a ripoff to the people who bought all the fucking Psycho Rangers up to that point, and now they gotta get doubles. Now look, if you want to get doubles, that's fine. I'm just not somebody who gets doubles, because I don't need two figures. I don't need two fucking figures of something. Give me the right one, and I don't need duplicates. Okay? Give the people what they want. And they haven't really been doing that because they've mostly been just focusing on Mighty Morphin, and that's the problem that Bandai had, which they're not realizing that there are other fans out there who like other series. And it's just how do I phrase it? How do I phrase it without sounding like a nudge? How do I phrase it?
It's shit.
Pretty much. And when you're, and then when you do Psycho Green as a Hasbro Pulse exclusive, which I got him, and I was unemployed at that time, so I was saving my money. I spent my money on him, and then you get Psycho Silver. It's like, okay, now I've got 3 Psycho Rangers, but I'd rather have all the Psycho Rangers. You screwed me over, Hasbro. Now I'm not going to buy anymore. Because personally, I just also heard about the quality control of them. I heard all the problems that were going on with the paint details and for God's sakes, Lunar Wolf was like, it was like a hat and a cherry tree. There were 4 different variants of them. It was a needle in a haystack if you got the right one.
So, yes.
Yeah, so all I can say is, I feel that Hasbro's Lightning Collection has kind of become kind of a ripoff in its own right because they're doing the same problems that Bandai was doing. And
yeah.
And that's the problem. Bandai didn't realize that we had a lot of Mighty Morphin stuff, and it was time to move on to the next thing. Hasbro doesn't seem to realize that either. I honestly don't think that they realize that. You know, it's nice with the Mighty Morphin stuff, but there's only so many times you can re-release it before the fans start walking away.
Well, Phil, it's funny, you know, we talk about rip-offs and stuff, but, you know, what's not a rip-off, in my opinion, is Magic Mind, Jay!
Yes. Now, as somebody who struggles with keeping up their energy daily and with memory retention and other stress and exhaustion-related issues, it's been difficult trying to find something to keep me energized and keeps me focused throughout the day. You know, and you can chug as much coffee as you want, but eventually you can only have so much, and it gets to be exhausting to you, and it starts to being less effective. But I found out about this energy drink supplement, Magic Mind, through... I don't remember exactly. I think it was another podcast. It was a little while ago at this point, but I've been drinking it pretty regularly. It's really good. It's not too big. It's nice little, like, one quick shot thing first thing in the morning. Wakes me right up. Keeps me nice and energized and focused throughout the day. Helps me keep my short-term memory more retained. Keeps me focused. Keeps me energized. Keeps me balanced out throughout the day. That's nice. Tastes really good, too. It's predominantly matcha-based, and it's chock full of all nice little minerals and vitamins and all sorts of nice elements, like... Yeah, it's all 100% organic ingredients, all natural, no mystery chemicals, no mystery gunks. And that really benefits the taste too, because it's a nice smooth shot. And you don't taste anything but the green tea, the matcha flavor. And I mean, hey, that's where you're getting the most enhancement from anyways, is the matcha flavor. And that's really the best part, is the taste. It's nice, it's quick, tastes great, no weird aftertaste, nothing like that. Absolutely pleasant throughout the day. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for something to kind of cut down on energy drinks or cut down on gallons of coffee or cutting down on the lemonade that kills you or anything like that. Topical reference, by the way. So I would highly recommend checking it out and giving it a shot for yourself. No pun intended. Luckily for you, we've got a special little code that our friends over there have given us. So if you go to either using the link in the description or go to magicmind.com/toku20, that is TOKU 20, you will get 20% off either for a one-time purchase or subscription. That's either I believe a 2-week or a 1-month subscription, or a single-time purchase of a certain quantity. And if you use that code and sign up through it, within the first 10 days, you will get 56% off your subscription costs for those 10 days, which, by the way, does stack with the 20% off if you set up using the code. So that's a permanent 20% off using Toku20, TOKU20, and within the first 10 days of using it, you'll get 56% off of a subscription, stacking onto the 20%.
All right, so this one is from Jamie. I know you guys have
Oliver.
Yes. Oh no, God no. He would.
Why do I keep like picking like the stupidest names to guess?
It's actually funny because Phil mentioned something about this earlier. I know you guys haven't done a list episode in a long time, but I have to ask, what are your favorite insert themes from the last few years of Rider?
That was a good question. I mean, they don't. The problem with insert themes is like nowadays they fucking like play them once usually and then never again. So let me think.
I liked
Chair from Back On.
Well, I mean Chair is like, I think that's one of the songs that's like kind of like transcended the show that it's in, because it's just a legitimately damn good song because it's Back On.
Yeah,
which is hilarious that Back On just did that. They cooked for no reason.
They really did.
But to be fair, Back On and Chair, Back On and or Chair and what was the other one for Geats 9?
I don't remember off the top of my head what the name was.
Because I think those are the only two they played in the show, no?
Yeah, those are the only ones in the show.
Because they had the character songs, but those were like outside of the show. Obviously, you had Revice with Volcano and Sakura Block. I think it's called, what's it called? Sakura's? I don't remember. Volcano, Sakura's, stuff like that. But I mean, honestly, the only one I remember from there is Volcano. Saber, everyone knows Rewrite the Story because that song is way too good for the show that it's supposed to be in.
True.
And 01, I mean, those were all just tragically cut short because of COVID.
Many such cases. Yeah, nothing comes to mind, unfortunately. I guess to pick... Jesus Christ. Cool. I guess to go... Fucking Christ, AJ.
What the
Stop
hell?
eating your microphone, you fat fuck.
It fell down.
Yeah, please.
Go on.
I guess to go back a tiny little bit further, Love the Victory from Build was really good. I really liked that one. That's a pretty recent one. I mean, not really too recent. But, yeah, like, talking about, like, 01 on, nothing really comes to mind other than, like, again, Cher or... I kind of don't remember any of the Revice ones, honestly. Like, a lot of those they didn't even play in the show, really. Like the Live Evil one was pretty good, but I don't remember them actually playing that in the show. Or, like... Who else got an insert in Revice that didn't get into the show? I don't remember. That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. Is like characters get inserts, but they just never use them anymore. So it's hard to really say.
I mean, I hope that Geats is just an outlier when it comes to the songs that are like on albums only. Because I thought some of those songs were pretty good for what the show was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Although I will say, Ace's character song, the first one they released of him singing, fucking hilarious performance there. Oh my god, that was fucking funny. Either they made him or they put a voice thing on him to make his voice sound deeper than it is, and it's so fucking funny.
They might have.
It sounds so bad. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem. Like Jay said, a lot of these insert songs just don't get played as much as they should. But to be fair, that's been an issue since fucking Xade. Like.
Yeah.
Since Xade, that's been I mean, shit. Does anybody remember the 2 fucking seconds? No. It was 3 seconds that Kronos' fucking insert song was playing. Yeah. It was 3 seconds. Fucking ridiculous.
I remember.
I think even...
Oh, yeah, Evolts was there.
Evolts was like less... I think Evolts was even less than that.
Evolution.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Like barely played the chorus.
I mean, you know what? I guess I like Brand New World from Zio, but that's just writer chips. And again, that's one of those songs that's just way better than it should be.
I guess it doesn't really count as an insert, but Toki no Oja from Zio as well was actually really
You are
good.
the only one who defends that song.
I'm not defending it. I just think it was good.
You're the only one who likes that song.
AJ,
I might be, though.
What, Phil?
just let him have his song.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will.
No, it's fair. It's fair. I can be bullied for that.
Look, it's fine. It's fine. If we can bully you for King Oja, I can bully him for Toki no Oja. As long as he doesn't like
we can bully AJ for a lot of things.
As long as he doesn't like Future Guardian, that's fine.
I don't even remember that song.
That's the one with that's Gaze's one where he's like, oh,
oh right, yeah.
Yeah. Look, you know what? Fucking Okuno can barely sing as it is, but at least he can sing better than Gates. At least he can sing better than Gates.
Yeah.
That at least. So, you know what? You know what? I'll throw another one from Zio in there that wasn't technically in the show. The Time Jackers one. That one was kind of fun. If you ever.
Oh yeah, that one was good.
That one was fun. I think it's mostly because Swartz just fucking went way too hard. But I like that one.
Offhanded though, also the few inserts for Zenkaiger that we got were pretty good. I liked. They don't really play too. I mean, like the mech themes aren't really the same as like an insert because they usually only play those once anyways.
Power theme was pretty good.
Whose?
The Super Zen Kaiser, that theme, you know, power.
Yeah,
power.
I remember not being too fond of that one, but it wasn't bad.
I like that one.
But I liked I legitimately don't remember the name. The Jiren Gaon theme. That one was good, but I mean that's because it's Sasaki Iso. You can't go wrong with him. Stacy's song was fucking weird, but it was good. Zox's song was really gay, but it was still entertaining. And every other song from Zenkaiju that I can remember is good. Dawn Brothers as well. Dawn Brothers didn't really have inserts either, but all the songs were great anyways, so you know, it's whatever. Sentai never really does inserts too much anymore, and like I remember when fucking Kira Major is like, let's give all the characters songs and then only play it one episode at a time during the credits and then never again. Jesus.
It's weird. So let's see here. Next question. Okay. Some of these I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of if we know anything about the backstage ska of some of this stuff, so let's see what we can do, right? Hey there, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. This one is from Mike. All
right.
Hey there, guys. Writing in.
Nice.
Hey there, guys. Writing in since I assume you may have some ideas or even answers to this question. What were the original plans and ideas for 01 before COVID and Mori came in to ruin everything? I don't know.
Honestly, I don't really know.
If you believe
not that I'm aware, not.
I was gonna say if you believe the mob, I mean most of the V cinemas covered that.
True.
So
yeah, that's the thing is like a lot of like the older shows we know it just because like they've been around so long that like as I was saying, a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff of older shows we know it's just because they've been around so long that the attention on them has faded, so a lot of people can just be like, oh yeah, we were gonna do this, or it's kind of gotten out at that point. 01's still relatively new, so a lot of the behind the scenes stuff hasn't really like gotten out yet, and what little has is unconfirmed. Like, yeah, like AJ said, like people say, oh, the V cinemas were supposed to be, but nobody really knows that for sure, kind of thing. You know, that's kind of up in the air, so who knows. But that's the thing is like I don't really know. It's especially 01 because like I'm pretty sure Takahashi, or at least somebody involved with 01's was like, no, nothing really changed. Don't worry, guys. We didn't have to change anything at all. This was exactly how the show was supposed to go, which is total bullshit, as we know. But that's the thing too, is that there's never really been any hint. Like with a lot of other shows too, it's like there was always hints like, yeah, we had to change some stuff. But 01, they've been pretty consistent recently. It's like, no, everything was definitely how it was supposed to be, and what little news there is otherwise is unsubstantiated.
I do fully call absolute bullshit on all of that though, because like you can tell just by watching the show, shit got really badly rearranged hard.
Oh, absolutely.
I again, if you believe in the theory or conspiracy theory or what have you, that 01's V cinemas are the original ideas, one, how the fuck? And two, that would be it would be worse than what we already had anyways. So it's not like it really matters. But yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, again, we don't know unless they tell us. Essentially, if they tell us, they tell us. But I don't think they ever will. So next question. This one is from Lauren. You mentioned in your Wizard review that it felt like it was essentially two writers going back and forth on the story progression of the show without ever actually talking to one another. Can you name another time in Tokusatsu as a whole that this has happened in?
Literally right now with Gotchard.
Really?
Off the top of my head. Yeah, it's pretty obvious so far when it's been just Hasegawa writing and Hasegawa and the committee are involved, or Uchida is writing, because it's like fucking night and day. Mostly because You can tell the episodes are entirely Hasegawa because they're actually good. So, I think recently they've just been kind of letting him cook and do it on his own because the show has been getting better. Not good, but better. But like within the early episodes, like the first 13 episodes, you could really tell when it was like writing by committee or Uchida compared to Hasegawa stuff. It was like night and day, yeah. But off the top of my head, it's hard to say because for the most part, usually there's a pretty consistent tone. Like the only times that come to mind are either shows where like there was a retool, like Hibiki or Decade, where the writers weren't communicating because they were literally not communicating because one of them got fired. Like maybe a little bit of Ryuki, because there was obviously the two different tones. Where you had Kobayashi, who had the more like serious episodes, and then you had Inoue, who had the Inoue in episodes, and you can kind of notice the difference. Like Inoue's episodes are really goofy and they're kind of shitposty. Like there's the one where like they're door-to-door salesmen and stuff, and then you have the Kobayashi episodes, which are more serious. You kind of get a little bit of that too with some shows. But that's really the only one that comes to mind that isn't like a retool kind of situation.
Yeah, I was gonna say like unless you want to get into like Hibiki and Blade, but again, like you said, those are full on retools, so it wouldn't be fair
pretty
to
much
mention those.
And weirdly enough, like Sentai, at least within the last like 25 years, doesn't really have that problem either. That comes to mind, like. Maybe Go Busters a little bit, but I know Go Busters got retooled, so that again is kind of a weird situation.
Yeah.
So again, it's hard because like other than the really obvious ones, the only one that really comes to mind is like Gotchard, and Gotchard has been kind of pivoting away from it as of recording. Obviously,
And then it gets just so much worse.
What?
And then it just gets so much worse.
Ugh.
As usual.
It could. It entirely could. It's at this point in the show where we have just enough time for it to kind of like pull itself together or just fall apart.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, as for me, I can't really remember anything, honestly. But next question. This one's from Roberto. Anyways.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Domo. Anyways, here we go.
Secret. I've got a secret. That secret is cannibalism.
I hope so.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Anyways.
Sounds great.
It is a song.
Anyways, let's answer the fucking question.
Why do you think Ultraman and Godzilla are more easily accepted in the U.S. than Rider or even Sentai? It seems It seems that everyone knows who Ultraman and Godzilla are and are even accepting of it, but Rider and Sentai seem to always be the black sheep in the room. Why is this?
It's easy. Because Godzilla's been around since the fucking 50s in America, and Ultraman's been around since the fucking 70s in America.
Yeah, they
why.
just have been around for so long in the States that people just accept them as like normal. Everybody knows what Ultraman is.
Godzilla's been fucking mainstream since the 90s. Like, normals know who Godzilla is.
Normals watch Godzilla.
Know what Godzilla are.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially nowadays, normals love Godzilla, where you've got the MonsterVerse stuff and Shin Godzilla. Hell, -1 is doing fucking gangbusters.
Apparently,
it really is.
Apparently, it blew fucking the Marvels out of the water.
Well, that's
the
a tin
Marvels,
can could have blown
dude.
that out of the water.
I mean, sure.
I'd go fucking pay to see like Thor 2 again rather than
wouldn't.
see the Marvels.
Oh.
At least Thor 2 had Christopher Eccleston.
I guess that's true.
That's true.
But like, it's just
back on top.
Again, it's like Jay said, they've just been around for so long that people just accept them. Everyone knows what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And like with Sentai, of course, it's the eternal thing of Power Rangers exists, therefore it is impossible to discern between the two. And Rider nowadays, especially with Shin Kamen Rider, is starting to get a little bit more recognition outside of like this general sphere of influence. But I think beforehand it was either just it wasn't known enough, or it was too heavily connected to Power Rangers aesthetically to really make it on its own.
Yeah.
So that's really what it boils down to is Ultraman and Godzilla are accepted because they've been around for basically as long as they've been around in Japan.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one, Jay. This one is from Liver? I didn't read this name right. I think this...
Take a screenshot. Maybe I can figure it out.
I'm going to just type it because I put it in Notepad.
Lever.
No, it's...
Live?
Yeah, I want to say Lever.
Lever.
Or it might be like a situation where like like it's one of those weird like fucking European vowels that are pronounced normal.
Oh, so
but I'm gonna say Lever.
Oh, so it's Steve.
it might be.
So
Bob. His name was Bob.
So. Anyways, this is from Lever. So outside of the Subgoku Wars, what is the biggest scandal / fandom drama you have ever seen or been a part of? Oh,
well,
boy.
Been a part of? I don't know if we could talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know if we can talk. I don't know if we can talk about any of these crustaceans, but we have been.
Yeah.
But seen, that's another story.
Seen, none that comes to mind necessarily. Like, there's a lot of little stuff that I've kind of briefly touched upon. Like, I remember one time I ranted about Yongo Over Yonder, which is a good one. I don't know if that's pre or post Crisis, but I think we should try to dig that one up again at some point.
Perhaps.
Beyond that, you've got just like fan subber drama, which isn't really all that interesting or hasn't really gone on too long. Or like it's a lot of like older stuff too that isn't really like well documented. So I've seen a lot of like dumb fucking flame war arguments too, but it's just nothing has quite reached the level of the Subgoku Wars yet. Emphasis on yet. I think like there have definitely been stupid things that happened, but nothing quite to that scale. I think like the closest we've probably gotten is like yeah, no, nothing really comes to mind that I can talk about at the very least.
I mean, if you want to go like outside of subgroups, I mean, take your fucking pick. You got the Trinity incident, obviously. Everybody knows
I would
about
definitely
Trinity.
say
I remember that.
Even though we're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to know about Trinity.
That's a good one. That's definitely a good one. The overall saga of fucking Shirakura on Twitter and the ending of the fucking Trinity incident.
If you want to go more,
all of the dumb shit going on with Power Rangers fans.
Oh, we have a question about that. Funny enough.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
We have. Well, I mean, if you want to go a bit more recent, and I don't even give a fuck, it doesn't matter. The whole torrenting situation, because what the fuck?
Yeah.
What was that?
Thanks.
What the fuck were you smoking?
Who did that again? Taiwan?
What?
Who did that again? Was it Taiwan or Indonesia or Jakarta?
No, that was Hakiles.
It was?
Yeah, he made an entire video, and I think it's still up, about how to torrent these TV shows illegally.
Oh my god, that fucking idiot!
He made.
What were you thinking about, Phil?
I was thinking about how it's harder for us to get the subs now, considering certain things.
No. He made.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely like just the way subgroups honestly recently have, especially with Tokusatsu, have really gone underground now that these shows are getting a little more exposure, because like you've had fucking idiots talking about it in public, and I'm not just saying you specifically, Hawk. I'm saying just in general, fucking morons going on Twitter and either deliberately to be an asshole or just like a clown, talking to the fucking producers and production staff about where they pirated that stuff. Like, there's a fucking reason TV Nihon basically doesn't exist anymore, even though they do exist, but we don't talk about that. It's because some fucking jackass went on Twitter and told Shirakura about them, and that's why they don't make shit anymore.
Even though he knows what we're doing, and he's okay,
Exactly.
and he's okay with it.
It's basically
fine with it.
It was basically the equivalent of the parent who turns the other way when you try and get a cookie out of the cookie jar. Don't wave it in their face. They know what you did. They're trying to make it seem like they don't know, so they don't get in trouble for this.
It's the same situation with, like, I don't want to say Nintendo, because Nintendo gets really kind of retarded with it sometimes, but like Sega or like a lot of big companies with like fan projects where like they don't necessarily care until they start getting big spotlights, because like that's when they have to really start caring.
So that's
Sega.
Oh, excuse me, gross.
Sega's probably
But,
not as bad as Nintendo, because remember A2MR?
everyone does.
Yes, God.
But like, that's the thing. Like, it's one of those things where, you know, that happened. You know, Trinity happened, and again, you know, some other stuff happened.
Some other shit.
Fuck Ren. Anyways, but like, it's stuff like that.
God, why did they bring him back for Outsiders?
Because
my
they got nobody else.
I
They
guess
had nobody
so.
else. Who are they gonna drag back? Beatstag?
Well, they ended up. Well, it's funny you say that because Garen showed up in another episode.
Fair enough.
And he got his king form
well,
finally.
well, that's Garen. You know, Garen's Garen.
Oh my God! Don't fucking remind me about that King Form episode. I was so fucking disappointed.
Dude, I'm just
Because
happy
like the
he
whole
finally
the fucking advertiser was like, "Oh look, Garen gets King Form," and then 90% of the episode was yet another episode of Outsiders of telling Horobi to stop being so fucking stupid. Because that's really what most of episodes of Outsiders are. Horobi being a fucking dumbass, and everybody calling him a dumbass, and him not learning anything.
But
enough about that.
But like,
yeah, like situations like that, those come to mind. But stuff like the Sub Goku Wars, where it is entirely just dumb shittery, very little else comes to mind, unfortunately.
So yeah, so the thing. Okay, let's say it like this, without naming anything specifically. We know things that have happened in the past behind stuff, but we can't say anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what? For the wrestling fans out there, we know whether or not if CM Punk actually punched Jack Perry in the face, but we're not allowed to tell you. We can't tell you that. We just know.
We know how much of the pipe bomb was scripted.
We know if Kenny Omega actually got bitten by the dog or not. So we know some things, but
we know. I want to make a Chris Benoit joke, but it sounds.
We know who won the Royal Rumble 2004.
Don't do that. Yeah, Jay,
we know who was driving the car that hit Stone Cold. Wait, actually, no, we do know that it was Rikishi. Never mind.
We know who was driving the white Hummer in WCW.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. Like, we know things, and I don't think like we're special in that case. Like, we know things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can say anything. It's one of those like hush hush until someone says it.
We know the other parties know. The other parties definitely at this point know that we know that they know that we know that we know that they know that we know that they know that we know. You know? But nobody wants to be the first person to come out and say
but that's the thing too. Like,
kind of
it's not even just like pertaining to us personally. It's just we just know the fandom ska that just happens. We just know stuff.
Yeah.
So we can't. It's one of those things.
You've been around long enough, you pick up on it.
Yeah, exactly. We just know things, but we can't say anything because we don't want to get people in trouble about it. But that's just the way it goes.
Because we're smart.
So actually, let's see here. The next question.
Next question. Why is Phil so dumb? Why is Jay so dumb? Why is AJ so dumb?
Magic Mind.
It's because lead is... I was going to say lead in the drinking water, but there's that too.
Anyways. That's getting edited
Well,
out.
Phil, you live in Staten Island, so there's probably lead in your
This is
drinking
true.
water.
No, there's not.
There's probably lead in your hot dogs.
There's definitely lead in your hot
100%.
dogs, dude.
What do you think
I
they're made
don't
of?
eat lead in the hot. I don't even eat that many hot dogs.
We don't need to.
I can't remember the last time I willingly had a hot dog.
January 14th, 2010. I'm just kidding.
I think it was definitely recently than that, but
No, I'll tell you about myself. No, anyways, no,
Next question.
but yeah, like I said, we know things. It's fine. Next question. Okay. So we have some spicy ones here.
oh boy,
This one, this one's from Susan. Wojcicki? I don't know. This is from Susan.
Sarandon?
Yes. Of the Power Ranger seasons you have reviewed, what can you say is still the best one? Fucking none of them.
Which ones have we reviewed again?
SPD and Operation Overdrive.
Oh, we did Dino Charge too.
But that's pre-crisis.
Fair.
We also did
I
Jungle
guess by
Fury.
default
Not
SPD.
pre-crisis.
I mean, yeah, SPD by default, but that doesn't mean SPD's good.
No.
Like, honestly, that was probably like
It's
the
like
most...
that's like asking me to choose between fucking Return to the Jedi or Last Jedi. Like, one's terrible and the other's just like whatever.
But Return of the Jedi is great because it has Ewoks. It goes nup nup.
Return of the Jedi is not a good movie.
It goes nup
okay?
nup.
Fucking Ewoks.
Fight me. Fucking fight me.
Okay.
Fucking Ewoks.
Anyways,
People like Return of the Jedi because the shit with Jabba that is like maybe 20 minutes of the movie. The rest of Return of the Jedi is fucking awful.
That's
I
all
like
I watch of Return of the Jedi.
Up until the end with our boy Sheev in the final fight there, Jedi is terrible.
yeah, I'm never gonna get over that.
One of these days we're gonna get around to doing Empire because we did New Hope.
We did A New Hope. Was that pre or post crisis?
That was pre.
Technically pre.
I'll never get. I'll never get over.
So we gotta go back.
I'll never.
So we gotta go back to
Nah,
episode 4.
I'll never get over the fact that his name is just Sheev. That's his name.
Sheev Palpatine.
Sheev Papa Pappy Palpatine. Anyways,
And the fact that he got busy is ugh.
I mean,
He's not a man who gets busy.
Well, you would know.
oh,
Talk about my sex life. You don't know what I do in my sex life.
yeah, your hand.
Yeah, we know what you do. It's nothing.
Oh, trust me, I've been very busy.
Phil, no, if you were, you would have told
Yeah,
us.
it's true.
Maybe I chose not to tell you guys.
You're not a quiet person, Phil. Don't even try this Linkara bullshit with me. Anyways,
Maybe I
to
haven't-
go on.
don't you
Insert
compare me to.
masturbation joke
Do
here.
not compare me to that one. Do not ever compare me to him.
Oh, trust me, you're way skinnier than
It's
Linkara.
also true. And you also fucked the red M&M, not the green one. Anyways, to go,
Why the one voiced by Billy West?
I don't know. He's got some charm. Anyways,
They do exist.
God, I saw that commercial
Santa?
again. Like
I knew Christmas was starting when I finally
I saw that commercial at work the other day, and I was like, wow, it's crazy that like I remember when this used to look crystal clear.
Yeah, that's right. It looks so shitty now.
Let's see.
It's because it's the same fucking recording they've been using since the 90s,
true.
Phil.
You know that one
The
of
commercial
them
is like as old as I am.
You know that one of the yellow M&M is J.K. Simmons, right?
Yes, I did, actually.
So, you know. Anyways, next question.
I know. Anyway.
What was that question again? Oh yeah, SPD sucks. Anyways, going on.
You know, it's a sign of a good question when we've completely changed the topic. And I say that unironically, by the way.
Oh man, actually, funny enough, this one is from Bob.
The Builder?
Yes. There aren't really many famous Bobs, are there?
Bob Marley, Bob Hope.
Bob Iger,
The Builder.
Builder, yeah, the Builder.
Barker.
Bob Barker. He's dead. So.
Yeah. May he rest in peace.
Is he dead? I don't remember.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, he
dead.
died.
Okay.
99.
He died a couple
this
years
year.
ago.
Really?
He died this year.
Really? He only died this
Yeah.
year? Huh.
Yeah, he died this year, 99.
You're probably thinking of Betty White, who fucking bit it right before her birthday.
That's right.
No, I know that it's Bob Barker. I know.
Anyways.
Yeah, but anyways, for this one from The Ghost of Bob Barker. As fans and even Toei themselves, we often lump tokusatsu into terms Showa, Heisei, and now Reiwa. And while these are obviously distinct and helpful, I believe at the current time they have become a bit outdated, especially since we have mini eras within those eras, such as pre- and post-decade. Do you think we as a fan base should begin to use better, more specific terms for these shows, kind of like how Godzilla has Showa, Heisei, and Millennia eras before it went into the Reiwa and Legendary era, of course?
No, because, well, I think for starters, most fans need to actually learn what these terms mean and why these distinctions exist, which, don't worry, I'm working on a project that relates to discussing something about that. We'll
shit.
talk about that later. I don't want to get too into it just in case it doesn't pan out. But I think a majority of people don't actually know what these terms mean and only know about them from, like, the way Toei uses them. Like, if I had a nickel for every person who thinks Heisei era started in 2000 with Kuga, I would fucking be a millionaire. Because the Heisei era started in the 80s, first and foremost. But people don't, I think especially Western fans, well, definitely Western fans, don't actually understand what these terms mean, what their distinctions are, and what they're used in terms of tokusatsu. I think I would necessarily agree in that, especially once you get into more recent years, it definitely starts getting a little more vague. Because, like, early Heisei compared to later and compared to, like, Reiwa, where there, as we've talked about, there really isn't much of a distinction yet. There kind of is, but there kind of isn't. There is some issues, and there's definitely, like Godzilla's been good about that, but Godzilla has always been consistent, and, like Ultraman's done it with, like, the new generation stuff they've been doing, and they've kind of moved on that now. But I think, like, individual franchises should have their own kind of distinct terminology. Like, yeah, post-decade is good. Post-decade Heisei, or Phase 2 Heisei is what Toei officially calls it. Or, like, New Gen Ultra, Heisei Ultra for, like, the 90s stuff. I think, like, franchises should have their own distinct terms for, like, the periods they've made movies and, like, the different, like, universes connected thematically. Sentai is really the only one that doesn't have one like that, because Sentai has never really needed anything like that more than Showa, Heisei, etc.
And to be honest, Sentai, if we're again, I think we've said this before. Sentai's never really changed, anyways. So
no, like show other than, like, the same way other shows have, just, like, in general, Showa Sentai and Heisei Sentai really aren't all that different thematically.
exactly.
So no, I don't think we should. I think fans should actually learn what these terms are and why they are used and what their distinctions are, but instead of inventing new terms. But I would agree that having specific terms for specific periods for franchises would be helpful.
You know what? Yeah.
And for the most part, most franchises do already have that.
So, without stepping on the toes of your project here, what would you consider calling Kuga then? Like the Kuga era of Heisei.
Kuga would be Heisei Rider, early Heisei Rider.
So you would add the Rider
Like,
at the end.
Yeah, like, well, Kuga is just Heisei in general, but that counts as Heisei Phase 1 for Toei's purposes.
Yes.
So that's what we would call Kuga. Like again, it gets weird with, like, the Shin ZOJ movies, which are from the Heisei era but are considered Showa Rider. Like, that's where it gets weird, and I think that's where also gets confused people who don't understand.
We'll call them
terminology of it.
Sheisei. Or Hoa.
Let's not call them that.
Hoa.
No. We're not going with that. We're gonna if we're gonna choose anything, it's gonna be Sheisei.
Sheisei, yeah.
Shosei.
The Shosei era. Who's Emperor Shosei? I made him up. He
I don't.
he's the one
know.
who sent the guy to kill Abe.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm down for that.
That's my headcanon.
Emperor
You're
Shosei
horrible.
would be a contraption kind of guy.
Rube Goldberg machined all over the fucking place. Anyways,
Got it with that fucking Fred Flintstone ass gun. Hero. That man is a hero. Anyways, enough about political assassinations.
let's talk about political assassinations. Anyways,
But yeah, well, but no. Like I think I agree. Like I said, within specific franchises, they should have more like clear distinctions. But overall, these terms are used for a reason, and I think more people need to actually understand these and understand the proper distinctions as they're used. So a little bit of yes, a little bit of no.
so
But what about you, Phil? You got an answer to
yeah,
that?
bitch.
I
So mean.
The answer is no.
Apparently not.
I guess.
I just feel that like the way we have it works because it's easier to lump like which Rider, which Godzilla, which Sentai is of that era. It makes it easier.
It's fair. It's all right.
I do think that, you know, I agree with Jay. I think people do need to understand what these terms mean instead of just like throwing them out there willy nilly, because that's how you get shit like Neo Heisei, and that's when I slap you across the face. People still
He almost slapped me across the face.
people still say that, and it's disgusting to me.
I vaguely recall somebody asking Shirakura about Neo Heisei once, and I don't remember his response, but I remember him being not particularly happy.
He was like, "Huh? The fuck?"
He's like, "What are you talking about?"
We got only 3 more left for tonight, so let's start right here. This one's from Ruben. We hear a lot about original plans or something was changed last minute in these shows every single year. My question is, which of those plans do you think would have drastically changed your view of the show had they gone through? Rider, Sentai, Ultraman, what have you?
It really depends, because a lot of times it's either, I think for the most part, every like alternate plan I've heard, for the most part, tends to be worse. Weirdly enough, like off the top of my head, you know, O's. Had they gone with like the greed civil war kind of thing they did, I don't think it as like nothing as the middle part of O's is. Had they gone with that, I don't think I would have enjoyed O's that much. Especially if they went with the Ankh as the final boss ending, as they seem to have been trying to set up.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It would not have worked. Or like most recently with Dawn Brothers, had they killed off the Noto trio like they were planning to, I don't think Dawn Brothers would have held up as much near the end. I think a good chunk of Endgame Dawn Brothers was held up by the Noto trio being there. So had they gotten rid of them, I don't think Dawn Brothers would have been as like Dawn Brothers would have still been amazing, but it wouldn't have been like perfect amazing kind of. So I think that's the thing, is like a lot of times when you hear these alternate plans, most of the time they're not as good. So a lot of the times we kind of dodge a bullet. There are very few instances where I can think of that like this would have made the show better, and a lot of those are really like incidental kind of like we're gonna do this early on, but we did end up not doing that kind of thing.
Honestly, yeah.
Or like this character was gonna get a form earlier kind of thing, which in the long run would have not changed a whole lot.
Honestly, he's not wrong. Like for me, like I think of like, I don't know. I think going so far as like Hibiki, right? We don't really know the original plans for Hibiki 100%, but we know enough where I think it would have been better in the long run. I don't think it would have been great. I think we said that in the episode. I don't think it would have been great, but it would have been better than what we fucking got. And, you know, what we got was absolute trash. But then I also think about that on the other side of the coin of what would happen if we had the original ideas of Blade. And I think Blade would have suffered immensely from that rework not going through. Because I want to be honest, as fun as the first third of Blade is, it would not nearly have been my like top 3 if those plans had gone through, because it was going down a place that nobody would want.
No, it would not have been as effective.
So, that's me. What about you, Phil?
I feel like some things. I think you guys said it best. Like, if certain things had changed in ways that would have affected the show, it wouldn't have been as enjoyable.
You got any specific shows you can think of?
Honestly, Jay said what I wanted to say. I was gonna say O's. If they had kept the original O's, I don't know what would have happened. What about Blade? Like, if they had kept the same writer, where would it have gone? I don't know.
Like, yeah, like it's one of those things where, like, unless we know the full plans, we can't really say. Like, I mean, there's the original plans that they had for Forze, but even those aren't 100% like verifiable, so we really wouldn't know.
I know that the original plan for Ghost would have been so much better than what we got.
Well, we don't even know that much. We just know that it was going to be scarier.
And they were going to have a narrator who used to do ghost stories.
So, there you go. Next.
Remember when we were excited for Ghost? I remember.
Actually.
That's just every writer show, though.
Ghost could have been good, and then for one, they hired Maury, and then also they had to complain. They had to listen to the soccer moms.
I mean, name another writer in the last 10 years that's gotten a pre-show preview video like Ghost did. Like, does anybody remember that weird fucking concert video?
I remember that. That was weird.
What even was that?
I remember it.
It didn't even matter because, like,
the icons were aliens.
Yeah, the icons were aliens, and like, fucking Takaru had a personality, and like, seemed like an interesting character, and Ghost seemed like it was like gonna be fun, and there was like an urban aesthetic to it, which seemed interesting, and then Ghost doesn't have anything at all.
So yeah.
Like, the closest that comes to mind that did that was fucking Gotchard. And that was like a 13 minutes, God. Well, okay, I guess technically Revice had like a 13-minute like preview episode with in Superhero Senki, but that doesn't really count. But like, yeah, the closest that comes to mind is like Gotchard, which did that little like Twitter video recently, and that's just about it.
Ghost is a weird fucking case we're going to be getting into next year.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, next question. All right. We got last two here. We're going to start with this one because it's the least spicy of the two. And if this is anything to go on, you already know. This one is from Jackson. What is your reaction to Gokai Silver being a criminal now?
I think it's very funny because I saw a movie with him recently where he was playing a criminal. I was like, that's kind of cool. He's doing a good job. Acting. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, look.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't think he's going to be coming back to Digimon anytime soon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's
Joe.
been the voice of Joe in the Adventure reboot stuff. Well, okay, jokes aside, it's not like a situation like with Baron, where what he did was stupid but ultimately harmless, and like he kind of knew, or like as bad as like Vol Panther, who did a lot of stuff. Did a lot of stuff that I don't really want to talk about. That's, that I can't make.
Should we bring up Gills?
Well, Gills is like, on the scale of 1 to 10, where like 1 is like fucking, I don't know, like I'm trying to think of like a mundane scandal that happened with a writer, like maybe like somebody being seen with like some woman that's not their like wife or girlfriend or whatever the fuck, or like.
And
yeah, I guess there's that.
I mean, if you want to talk mundane, it's like, oh, saber smoking.
Yeah, like a mundane scandal, which is like getting caught doing like smoking or littering or like even like shoplifting isn't necessarily mundane, you know. I mean, not that I'm one to judge, but like in the grand scheme of thing is like it's like a 1 or a 2, but like 10 is like Super 1 and Volpanther's crimes, and also that one Sentai actor who may or may not be in the Yakuza, according to what I've heard, but that's another story. That's unconfirmed, and I don't remember who. But, like, on a scale of to 10, which is those two, he's, like, just barely hitting, like, 9. Because it's not, like... It's about as bad as what Super 1 did. It's pretty much the same thing, actually. But I think the fact that he actually got caught and, as of this recording, hasn't gone on a fucking crime spree and run and hid from the country for 10 years, you know, who knows? Maybe Gokai Silver becomes the next Super 1 where he just fucking vanishes and we never see him again.
That's his plea deal.
He agrees to stay out of jail if he goes and finds Super 1.
Exactly. I know where this man is.
I fucking watched that movie.
I know
dude.
where he
Are you
is.
kidding me?
I would watch that. That would be pretty cool.
That is no, like unironically, you could make a great movie out of that. Is that this high-profile criminal agrees to stay out of jail if they agree to go find this other high-profile criminal?
Yep, this is me.
And that's fucking
might,
great. I should.
You might be wondering how I got into this.
Literally.
Oh, what's that song from The Who? God damn it.
I might have to write this.
There's too many songs by The Who that I can think of.
The synthesizer's fucking thing.
That's Bubble Wrap.
Yeah. It's just that one. It's just that song. Yeah, that's me. You probably wonder how I got into this situation. Well, let me tell you a story. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Okay.
But yeah, look. Technically, he hasn't gone on. I mean, look. Japanese trials are basically guilty trials, anyways. But technically, he hasn't gone on trial yet.
Yeah, Japan doesn't have guilty until proven innocence.
You're just guilty. But like,
yeah,
look,
pretty much.
It's actually no. Yeah, I guess that works. 'Cause Japan isn't guilty until proven innocent. They are guilty. Maybe you will be proven innocent.
So they don't even have habeas
It's not like
corpus.
America or like most other
like I said,
countries.
it's very obvious that. Cause, I mean, the guy fucking admitted that he did it, anyways.
Yeah, it's at this like he's definitely guilty. He definitely did it. There's no way of him getting out of it or anything like that. He did it. He's guilty. Like you can't really make jokes about it. What he did is pretty
It is,
fucked.
but the thing is, like, it's weird because like as fucked up as it is, I just also think like, oh, it's what about like what else can these people possibly do? And it does suck, but it's like, what like
right?
It sucks for me because I'm like, man, you guys are supposed to be like role models. Like I know Sentai for Gokai Silver was so many years ago, but you're supposed to be role models, and you're doing this kind of crap.
Right?
Like, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is that like in the grand scheme of things, it's bad, it's screwed up. It's not like, again, he didn't kill anybody that we know of. You know, he wasn't like selling drugs or, again, Volpanthering anything. Seriously, if you just want to be like depressed, go look it up. I
just did.
It's
No, you know what, Jay?
Okay.
Give us a crash course. Come on. Yeah, give us
Me?
a crash course. Come on.
Me or the?
all right. Short version. Let's see. On top of a laundry list of petty crimes after Sun Vulcan ended, he has a laundry list of just being a whole public nuisance, just in general. During the 2011 earthquakes, he fucking tried scamming people by selling upcharged bottles of water during crisis times, among other supplies. But the big one and the one reason why I didn't want to talk about it is because he's a kitty diddler. That's the punchline. Unfortunately, is that Volpanther no touched some kids. That's why I didn't want to talk about it.
Well,
because I can't make that
kid.
funny.
That's still
He
one
touched
too
one
many.
kid.
That's one
Yeah.
too many, Phil.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying he just did one.
You don't need to correct that information. You can let that lie. That's the point. I didn't want to bring this up.
Well, you were the one that told me about it, and I looked it up, and I said, "Oh no."
Phil, if I don't want to talk about it, there's a reason I don't want to talk about
Jay,
it. It's
I will
can't.
say just to
when I
just
go,
to interject Phil's
that means I don't want to talk about it.
Just to interject Phil's retardation here. I do like how his
fuck you.
his official Ranger Wiki post is Asao Kobayashi is a former Japanese actor and convicted sex offender.
That reminds me. I think that's how Gerard Jones's page on the DC Wiki is.
but like,
God, I mean, it's brief tangent. What he did is fucked up, but it's not as fucked up as uploading your own kitty porn onto YouTube by mistake.
Oh,
Good fucking God. Good God. How do you fuck that up? How do you do that?
but yeah,
Anyways, enough making fun of pedophiles. Yeah. The joke is over here. Look, it's not that bad. He didn't murder anybody or no touch anybody or anything like that we know of at the moment. But it's still really bad. It's still really fucked up, and unless he pulls a Super 1, it's not the most fucked up thing that's happened, but it's still like it's bad. It just kind of like preemptively ruins a lot of details just about like his roles and his career and stuff like that. So.
pretty much.
again, I don't want to say, well, what about this? Because that's fucked up. But at the same time, it's also, man, y'all Toku actors just seem to find a way to one up each other every fucking year, somehow.
Right.
I'm just expecting, like, I don't know, Vulcan's actor to come back and be like, oh, he shot a guy or something. He shot a guy.
Actually, I heard somebody say he went to law school, which I have found zero information to prove. But
I mean, it's a
That'd be
it's a
interesting.
better fucking explanation of anything else that you could say. I mean, he just vanished.
yeah, I mean, the dude's been radio silent.
The guy literally just popped
no,
out
like-
of existence.
Speaking of popping out of existence, yeah, like AJ said, unless it comes out next year that like a big name Toku star is like a serial killer or has been like again a no toucher for a long time or something equally screwed up or like is the Japanese equivalent of like Heisenberg or is the new like fucking Shoko Asahara or something ridiculous like that. Just like off, like try to list like worse outcomes. Like
Fucking Ed
unless
Gein.
there's something worse. Edo Ginu.
Oh no, Kamen Rider
Yeah, like-
Demons has women's underwear that he killed in his closet.
Which demons?
The demons.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say if you mean the shitty little kid who was over demons, then yeah.
No, I mean
definitely.
I know he did. He probably did no to someone.
Well, I mean it's like all but confirmed he tried to no touch Angular.
So, but like again, it's
Well,
like you said, like unless like in the next year, like I don't know, Spectre is like John Wayne Gacy or something. John Wayne Gacy, like.
he does seem the type. Look, I remember what he looked like. I remember when they debuted him and everybody was like, "This dude doesn't look
This
healthy.
guy looks like he
This
killed
dude
someone.
looks wrong."
He's a
exactly.
crackhead.
But yeah, unless like it comes out next year that like. No, I can't say Cosmos because he was already on trial for that. God, I can't wait till we talk about Cosmos and I could talk about Cosmos getting arrested. Yeah, unless like again something ridiculous comes out where like a writer actor fucking murdered somebody or like they're a drug kingpin or something
Or
ridiculous.
Vol Panther
like that.
killed someone again.
He's been in jail. How is he gonna do
He
that?
could kill someone in jail.
Well, okay, I guess he could kill someone
exactly.
in jail, but look, we've going on too many tangents. Point is,
Bull Panther's a disgusting
fucked up.
motherfucker.
Well, there's that too. It's fucked up. It's bad. As much as we're trying to make joke around it, it's hard to make jokes about it. But it's also like, it's not the absolute worst thing that he could have done. And unless he just bails, I think this case is kind of resolved. And I don't think we're ever going to see him again in anything in general. But it's hard to really like joke about.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Never say never. I mean, Gills' actors still being buddy-buddy with the rest of the cast for, after that. So,
yeah.
All right, so last question. If you thought that one was a nice bit of sunshine, try this one for size. And funny enough, this one is also from someone named Simon.
Too many Simons. Is this Simon Bennett?
Belmont.
Dick?
Anyways,
Simon Belmont probably doesn't know how to use a computer.
that's not true.
Dude's from the 1400s.
He can probably use a Zune.
You don't know that. Yeah.
He knows how to operate a Zune. That's the most he's got.
Simon Belmont is probably not even literate.
He probably is.
He probably can read the Bible, though. Yeah, no, okay, he probably knows
What
how to
about
read the
Richter
Bible.
Belmont?
That's about it. Richter is definitely literate because, Richter is from, the 1600s.
Do you think he would be able to operate an iPod?
Also, he was an aristocrat, so
Would
he
he
had
be able
money,
to
He could probably operate Windows 95.
Yeah, he seems the type.
I think he seems like a Windows XP kind of guy.
Nah.
You never know.
That's why I said 95. XP would be too sophisticated for him.
Anyways, this one's from
Definitely.
Simon. Thoughts on Simon Bennett's tweet over Power Rangers needing to necessarily...
Oh!
I made the joke about Simon Bennett.
Thoughts on Simon Bennett's tweet over Power Rangers needing to essentially lose
Thoughts
its...
about
needing to essentially lose its Power Rangers-ness.
We've already clowned on him on the show. I think he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. I will say, when he tried to cover his ass and come up with an explanation that doesn't make himself look bad, he's like, I'm not saying I was, guys. It was like the other people in the boardrooms. I'm like, all right, yeah, you kind of got a point, but all of your tweets. The man does not know how to write a tweet. The man just does not know how to speak to fans at all. He should not be on PR. He should not be on PR in regards to Power Rangers or public relations.
Oh, yeah.
He shouldn't have been allowed to really talk to fans in the way he was, because he just didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He as much as he likes to claim, he repeatedly showed that he has just general contempt for the fans, the industry, what he's making, the franchise, just the genre as a whole. I'm sure he likes Power Rangers as the brand. He knows Power Rangers the brand, but he probably doesn't actually care about Power Rangers beyond that. Which, I mean, that's fair, I guess, necessarily, because Power Rangers sucks.
True.
But the point is that he is like a lot of modern creators where they swear up and down that they are big fans. They know what they're talking about. But every single other time they open their mouth, they show that they have open disdain for the fans and the project that they're working on. They wish they could be doing anything else.
It's
So,
kind of sad.
in regards to this specific tweet where he's saying it should lose its Power Rangers, it's no, it shouldn't, because then it's just generic superhero slop. Once you start losing the Sentai stuff, once you start losing the unique blend of the Japanese stuff with the American stuff, it's just generics. It just becomes every other shitty rip-off show from the 90s. If you get rid of the Sentai stuff, if you get rid of what makes Power Rangers, what makes Sentai, what you get is fucking Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog. You get nothing. You get a show that's boring as fuck with nothing interesting going on.
I think the issue, and I mentioned it as well, and I'll even semi paraphrase what I said, and it's the fact that the issue for me is you cannot tell me that you want the best for Power Rangers when all you want is to just break it down from what it is, because that's not how you do any of this. It's the exact same shit. And Jay said the same thing. It's the exact same fucking shit that's happened to pretty much everything that everyone's always, I was a big fan of this when I was a kid. It's like, no, you fucking weren't, because if you were, you wouldn't be trying to do this shit. You would know what fans would want. But apparently you don't know what fans want, because all you're going to do is just change it from something that doesn't need to be changed. It's fucking... To put it concisely, you're not helping anybody but your own ego by doing what you wanted to do with this. And the fact that Power Rangers ended because of this guy, more than likely, it's just catharsis for me at that point. But again, it's just, I don't understand why the need to be so, and like Jay said, just this weird contempt he had for this, you know? Like this weird contempt that he had for like just Power Rangers in general. Like what did he expect to do when he came into this fucking series? Like what was his thought?
Like when he posted like when he came out later, when he posted the big laundry list of like, here are the things that Hasbro wanted us to do or not to do, and I'm like, these are all supposed to be bad things that they want you to do. Like these are all like, it's like, oh, we want to do this, when it is like, yeah, but you still could have done this, you could have done that instead. Like, a lot of it was just like the usual Twitter pandering bullshit that they didn't want them to do, which is surprising that the big corporation didn't want to do that. But not to get into that topic, I like looking at his list of like the shit they didn't want us to do. I'm like, Power Rangers has already been doing that shit since fucking it went over to Nick. Nothing has changed. How is this Hasbro's fault? You can't blame them because you're the fucking guy who's been in charge this whole time. This is already the shit you've been doing. You can't blame somebody else for the shit you've already been doing.
Like, let's see here. What's the quote right here? Right here it is. When I read this quote, I just knew this guy has no idea what he's talking about. And this is directly from Simon Bennett, by the way. I think, and this is only my opinion, that to reach a large mainstream audience, the franchise has to move away from its tokusatsu roots. It's this that has kept Power Rangers niche for so long with U.S. audiences. It needs to do this in a way that is fresh and compelling. And all I gotta say is, what do you say to that when you have fucking Ultraman and Godzilla in the fucking corner?
Exactly.
Ultraman and Godzilla have never compromised their fucking wackiness. If anything, Legendary Godzilla is probably the most wacky we've ever had Godzilla since the fucking 70s. So you can't give me that bullshit of Tokusatsu is too niche and weird to make it mainstream. Because motherfucker, I can point to isn't Ultraman so popular in America that they made its own American-made fucking anime series for Netflix? I don't know about you, Mr. Bennett, but I think to me, that tells me that you're fucking wrong. That what's keeping Power Rangers niche isn't because it's Tokusatsu and it's weird. It's because it fucking sucks. That's why I guarantee you more people know about Kamen Rider. More people know about what the new Kamen Rider is than what the new Power Rangers is.
And just bring up Godzilla again. We just talked about it. Look at Godzilla -1. That's made how much fucking money? Normal people who don't give a shit about Godzilla or any of the shit we're seeing this movie and talking about how fucking great it is. Like, this movie is doing gangbusters, and it's done nothing different at all than any of the other Godzilla movies have done. It is very much core to the Godzilla formula. It revels in its identity, in its history, and that pretty much blows the fuck out of his entire statement. Even before that, we had Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider that came out within this year, that fucking blew that sentiment out of the fucking water. That proved that he was full of shit. So even then, I don't know what he's fucking talking
I think it's even worse, though, is this one quote that I have here that it's almost even more insulting in hindsight. Again, this was directly from Simon Bennett. To attract a sizable mainstream audience in the U.S., a process of cultural translation is required to Americanize the show. This is what Power Rangers has been doing for 30 years. No, Americanizing the show is not necessary for us to fucking enjoy it. You want a fucking perfect example of that? Look at Squid Game. Nobody gives a shit that it's Korean as fuck. It's a good show. That's the whole fucking problem. Like, you can't sit here and tell me that we need to Americanize things for people to enjoy it. Is Godzilla King of the Monsters Americanized? No, not really.
No.
It's in America, but it's still Godzilla. Is Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider Americanized? No, and they made fucking gangbusters. Is Godzilla -1 Americanized? Oh, absolutely not. And look how money it's made.
It is very much definitely
And
not
look how much money it's making in America. So I don't give a shit what anyone says. You don't need to take away its roots or make it more mainstream. All that's gonna do is just make you seem fucking desperate. To try and make something more mainstream is to try and be more desperate about it. That's exactly what happens with Brave New World from Iron Maiden and the fucking half of Metallica's fucking discography since the late 2000s. Like, all of this shit, trying to make it more mainstream, doesn't make it more mainstream. It makes people think, you're just changing what we already enjoyed about it to begin with to appeal to random Joe Schmoes.
It shows that you're greedy and that you don't actually really care about what you're making. So then what you do is you destroy the core audience that you've already built up, and now you're lower than you were. But I think the short version is, like AJ said, like the key to making it catch on more is not to Americanize it. It's not to strip it away from Tokusatsu. It's not to remove the Sentai from it. It's just to stop fucking sucking, guys.
Pretty much.
I get it. You don't have a whole lot of fucking money to make these shows. I know, like, fuck, I remember during the Disney era, you guys barely had money to hire a writer. One. I remember that. I remember that shit. But, like, they still tried. Like, again, like, I'd rather watch Jungle Fury or Operation Overdrive or any of the fucking Disney era shows other than, like, beyond any of the fucking Post-Saban or any of the Hasbro shit, because they're just that fucking bad, dude. They're so fucking bad.
Literally none of the...
You know what people want?
You know what? I hate to even use this word unironically, and I know Jay's going to get it. The Disney era at least had fucking soul. It had soul to it. Was it good?
Yeah.
No. But you know what?
No.
I would rather, and I know this is going to sound really insane to you people, I would rather watch the absolute insane bullshittery that is Operation Overdrive over the inane fucking boredom that is Ninja Steel. I would rather do that.
Operation Overdrive was terrible, but at least they were trying to do something. And for the most part, they accomplished something unique. Unique doesn't mean good,
No.
but at least it stood out. At least it was like its own thing that still used the Sentai and the Tokusatsu elements to tell a unique story. What the fuck does Ninja Steel have? Ninja Steel barely fucking has anything to do with its own premise. Which, to be fair, using the ninja, you're already fucking kneecapped there to begin with.
Pretty much.
And then
But,
you
like-
start trying to force in fucking shit from the fucking comics, which are all awful.
Ugh. Don't get me started on the fucking Morphing Master.
But see, that's
bullshit
the worst part
from
about it too, though,
Dino
right?
Charge.
It's like,
Fury,
but that's the worst part
whatever
about
the
it too,
Dino
right?
Fury.
How can you fucking stand there and have the chutzpah to fucking tell me that you're trying to make it more mainstream by introducing shit from comics that I guarantee not even half of the people who watch the show have read? What fucking world are you in?
I've
Exactly,
I've
like-
only read some of the comics, and even I'm like, why?
Like, no, if you want to put shit in from the comics, like, to make it sell, fucking do Draken, dude. Like, people are still fucking talking about him. He sucks. He's lame. But he made a shit ton of money for them, and he got a lot of attention when he first came out. Why the fuck didn't we just put him in the show? Like, there's your fucking meal ticket. You don't have to do all this
There's
other
your
really
25th anniversary.
fucking, like, exactly. Like,
Would have been better than once and always.
instead of fucking dragging Zed out and beating his corpse literally and figuratively, just fucking bring that dude in if we're gonna bring in shit from the comics, or like, fuck, do anything interesting.
And that's the thing too. Like, yeah,
Like, that's the problem. Like, that's really what it is that, like, it's just nobody gives a shit what they're working on. Like, I know this has never been really confirmed, but, like, I know a lot of, like, the direction and the actors just, like, have no fucking emotion because that is just what they want. That is what the directors want. That is what the crew want.
But that doesn't tell a good story. That just is going through the motions.
Exactly. Like that's really the takeaway, is that like, just fucking care. Just actually care. Don't pretend to care for attention. Fucking get somebody who gives a shit to write. It doesn't have to be that good. You just have to have somebody who cares.
If you give them a little bit of bone and you give them some care, you'll get results. That's what we're trying to say.
Goes a long
is
way.
That you'll get results. Exactly. You want you know what fans want? They want competent stories, they want good characters that have arcs, and they want good stories. That's what they want.
And even then, like, your core audience are going to be kids. Like, kids don't care about whatever pandering to the fan base you're doing on Twitter, you know, in
mature
any regards.
themes.
Exactly. Like, kids don't want this, like, fucking mature themes and this, like, dark... Like, you can make it dark and interesting, that's fair, but, like, kids don't care about, you know, so-and-so getting his arm cut off, or so-and-so, like, bringing so-and-so old character back and having them become a ranger or whatever. Like all this anniversary stuff is fine. You can do that, but, like, that doesn't make the show interesting. That doesn't make kids give a shit. Kids don't care about whatever the fuck nonsense you're spewing, or all this, like, comic pandering or pandering to the fans on Twitter or doing all this whatever fuck shit. Kids just want to see cool stuff. Like, just fucking make the show, like, interesting. And, like, pick a show that has interesting toys to sell. And these shows will do fine. Like, that's not what, like... That's the problem, is that, like, these shows are being made for the fucking losers on Twitter who also don't actually care about it, but they like the pandering the shows are doing to them. And so it just creates a feedback loop of, like, well, nobody's buying it because the people who are being marketed to aren't going to buy it anyways. And the kids don't care. And that's your core audience there. So whatever the fuck. And, like, these shows, again, like, in the attempt to make it more mainstream and palatable, you have destroyed your audience.
Exactly. And again, it goes back to the idea that really what people want is something that feels passionate, that has soul in it at the end of the day. You know what? You can't, and people can't even throw it to me like kids won't care about stories and all that. Because you know what? Kids, there's a lot of people that were kids when Time Force came out, and people still love that fucking show. Because it wasn't this complex fucking 7 inches deep fucking story that only adults could understand. No, it was deep and mature enough for kids and adults to both understand. Just enough where you can enjoy it. And it's still fucking enjoyable to this day. So no, none of this bullshit of mature themes. Like, no, motherfucker, you don't need to make it more mature. You want to know what what tells me? You know what it tells me when your most mature thing is getting someone's arm cut off? That just tells me you went to fucking writing school in fucking DeviantArt 2007. Like, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. That's not mature. That's just, oh, look, someone got their arm chopped off. All right. That's the same thing as Gunshot Fade to Black. Fucking shut up. And again, I think my main point, though, besides what we're talking about, is just it's the absolute arrogance of being able to say, oh, well, I have to do this for the American audience because they wouldn't understand the Japanese stuff. When one of the most popular Kamen Rider series of all time in America is Kamen Rider Gaim. Possibly one of the most Japanese-centric shows they've ever done. Fucking what?
Right?
Mm-hmm. Fucking what?
Like, that is... I don't want to play this right. Like, it's a weird case of, like... I might as well have to. It's a weird case of, like, weird racism. Of, like, anti-Asian racism, where, like, we need to get rid of all of the Asian elements to make this show okay for Americans, when in the reality is that, like, what they're doing is that they're making, like, it for their buddies on Twitter, and that's about it. And, like, again, like you said, like, the most popular writer show in America is Gaim, which is Japanese as fuck. Like, Godzilla, again, all the Ultraman stuff and all the Godzilla stuff is still Japanese as fuck, and that's huge. The most recent one is literally a fucking war drama about Japanese soldiers in World War II, and that's made fucking $250 million within like the first week and a half. And it's going to get more than that too by the time where it's out of theaters. So it's not just like, you don't need to Americanize it. You just need to make it fucking good. And when you say you need to Americanize it, you're just saying you want to get rid of all the ideas that you think are problematic because you think it's a bad part of their culture that they need to get rid of. It is, again, like I feel like a fucking douche saying it's racism, but that's really what it is. It's racism, plain and simple.
When one of your fucking series was samurai themed, which is so Japanese, it's basically a culture. It's basically a part of their own culture. How can you say, "Oh, we're going to Americanize it" when you have that?
Dude, even samurai like treated the material better. That stripped a lot of shit out, but samurai at least tried. Like, look at where all the other shows went from that. Like that, like after Samurai is really when they started like doubling down on like really trying to strip out the Sentai-ish elements. I think that's really when like Saban too checked out, and it just kind of became like all of the other peons in charge too. Like, I mean, fuck it. As much as I hate the man, as much as evil as he is, at least Haim Saban tried to give a shit.
Even when he was trying to screw Gene Simmons over.
Even when he was trying to do a lot of things that
They're not bueno.
I will get canceled for if I try to describe in detail. So,
but I think that comes to the end of question now. Anyways, yes, I think that's where we're gonna have to end for today, because next week, potentially, possibly, we're going to be doing our year-end show. What is the year-end show? Fuck off. That's what it is. Fuck you.
basically,
It's basically just going to be a show where we just talk about the end of the year. We're going to talk about our favorite shows of the year, how we think we did so far over the year overall, and also just talk about what we wanted to talk about, Japan World Heroes, which we haven't actually had a chance to sit down and really talk about things. So we get to really speak about what we did, how it happened, how it all came about. And that's pretty much it. But I think that's it for tonight, boys and girls. So that's Phil. That's Jay.
This was
you do it every time, and he fucking falls for it
that's
every
Phil.
time.
You know, this was an interesting night. I'm happy we did this.
Yeah.
This is always good. They're always good when we get these heated discussions.
And then we're going to get canceled on Twitter again. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll just
You'll just pretend to be one of my sock puppets
do
again?
something.
Never forget. Never
Maybe.
forget.
Good times.
But yes, we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Boy.
Bye.